This episode is brought to you by Kate Spade New York.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Jess, and we're the hosts of the beauty podcast Fat Mascara.
And we're ready for that summer state of mind. If you're feeling the same, Kate Spade New York is right there with you.
The brand celebrates its 30th anniversary this year, and they're bringing on the summer adventures with a new collection inspired by a day at the beach.
We're loving their Spade Flower Jacquard collection, a classic Kate Spade New York print in new hues. And there's also a lemon novelty collection that adds a little zest to every summer look with timeless bags, breezy dresses, and so much more.
Wherever the season takes you, whether that's Cannes or Coney Island, get ready to look the part. Discover and shop the summer collection at Kate Spade New York.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
There's a twin mattress just laying on the floor. There's a video camera that is set up on a tripod. And then there's like a little lamp.
This is what we call a dungeon.
Hi, I'm Yardley Smith. Guess what? Season 12 of Small Town Dicks is here!
She says, I've never been more terrified in a room with a patient before as I am with this man here.
I say, if you keep me on based on what I saw out there at the crime scene, I'm going to turn into a defense witness.
The hair on the back of my neck was standing up.
Small Town Dicks Season 12 is out now. Don't miss it.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
This is a Lip Media podcast.
Hello, Lamely. It is, chapter 10. We're in season 2, chapter 10. It's all going off here at Me, I Am a Memoir, the meaning of Mariah Carey. This is Fab, Adam Richard. That is Posh, Phillip Lee Curtis, who I no longer know when it comes to how I use.
Yes,
she shut that down.
I'll tell you how I am if I feel like it.
All right. I'll deal with that when it happens.
I think you have to have feelings in order to...
You do have to have just one feeling would be good.
Do you know what? I used to think that feelings, like in your teeth, when someone said you hurt my feelings, I thought they meant it was a physical ache in their teeth.
Oh, like
as a little kid.
Like when you eat a chocolate and there's still a bit of foil on it.
Yeah. So if I said something like a bit mean and someone said, "Oh my God, you hurt my feelings," I'd be like, "How?" I don't understand.
I'm like tinfoil for that bitch's teeth. Yeah, I gotcha. We have a lot to get through in chapter 10. So before we get on to Make It Happen, oh my God, I love that sometimes the chapter titles are also the titles of songs. We better get on to the Me moments.
Me moments. All right, so we do have a few this week, but I just want to give a little announcement because we are in Australia. Next week, we may not have Me moments because Facebook may have taken an axe to them, so we'll see.
Yes. Yeah, because you won't get any more news because I know that's exclusively where you read all of your news.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Facebook's targeting us next. They're like, Me moments is where people will go for their news, just in general.
Yeah, that's for their weird anti-vaxxing theories and shit posting. Me moments.
Absolutely. So our headlines this week: Mariah has broken the news that the lawyer is not a cat.
The lawyer, what?
The lawyer is not a cat.
Oh, the lawyer is not a cat.
People say it was...
Someone did that at work this week, but it was Grug.
I love Grug. He's a tree, but upside down.
I know.
But no, people are saying that it was someone else who probably leaked it, but we know it was Mariah. Because that's who I saw post it.
Yeah.
Mariah has also remembered Whitney Houston on the anniversary of her death.
Oh, Whitney.
Feb 12, 2012. That's 9 years ago.
Oh, it's really?
It's 9 years ago. So yeah, she shared a little sweet photo of them. Mariah also
that Oscars performance is still one of my favorite things to watch.
Yeah, over and over and over. Again.
I'm going to touch your fingers. That's enough.
Now Mariah has also showed off.
That's what I think of whenever you do Oprah doing balloon. I go to when you balloon.
Oh God! If only Oprah knew the lyrics to anything, she'd be able to fill in.
She would be able to finish.
Oh well. It's just Mariah going, there can be miracles and nothing. And then
not yet, Oprah, too early.
All right, now Mariah has showed off her red velvet cookie. Not a
don't.
euphemism.
I've told you. No, the cookies are bad. I'm going to go and check if I can buy them again.
We don't know cookies. But she showed off the red velvet cookie from her kitchen, which I'm happy to report didn't look like a scary severed hand.
Oh,
just a cookie. So we're good on that front.
Or a biscuit, as we call them.
Yes. Although I would call it like a homemade style one a cookie.
That's a biscuit. They're all biscuits.
You're a biscuit.
Yeah.
You're
a biscuit.
Soggy biscuit.
Sure.
Your face is a biscuit.
Oh, my
all right.
God.
I've
got to remember to tick the yes explicit again this week.
Don't know what you're talking about. All right. So the African American Film Critics Association are also honouring Mariah for her visual storytelling through her music videos. The ceremony will take place online April 7th, and rumour has it Bianca will also make an appearance.
I love Bianca.
I may have started that rumour this afternoon on Twitter. But I'm hopeful. But in our lead story this week, Mariah has re-recorded We Belong Together for Valentine's Day. Starting as an appearance on Kelly Ripa's Hot Family and Ryan, Mariah and her band did a live reimagining of her massive hit with Mariah in her all-black studio uniform. I did notice.
I did love that.
And then Mariah teased a 7-minute version, which she has since released within days, titled Mimi's Late Night Valentine's Mix.
I love the Late Night Valentine's Mix.
What I loved about it, listening to the full 7-minute version, is the first 3 minutes is just the song. There's no embellishing. You know, she plays with it, but it's the song as it is. And then the last 4 minutes is whatever she wanted.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do whatever.
She's Mariah Carey.
I'm Mariah. Like, the engineer was ready to turn it off, and he's like, no. I'm still going.
I'm still going. One of my favorite quotes ever about Mariah was a review of when she was on American Idol. And it just said, and Mariah has the attitude of someone that can only be described as having been an international superstar for 25 years.
I do remember that.
It's like, fair. It's fair.
Stating facts. It's not a review, it's facts.
Like, I'm going to behave like this because I can. I don't need to be humble. What am I going to be humble about?
I am high maintenance.
I am the most highest selling woman in the history of forever.
And don't you forget it. One of my favorite things about...
be humble about that.
One of my favorite things about Mariah is that she knows her stats. Like,
she does.
People will turn around and be like, oh, so you've got 19.
Like, that's one of my favorite things, is like, because that was when I was doing gossip on the radio, so frequently I would just play my favorite clips of Mariah schooling Nicki Minaj on just how many hits she'd had.
They're really hard to get. Not everyone has that.
Just glorious.
Oh my God. All right, on that note, how about a recap?
Would you like a recap?
How about a recap? All right, so last week, our last episode, where Mariah tiptoed around Tommy Mottola on eggshells, and she recorded a demo. Mariah Begins. She sang All Alone in Love, and then she moved to New York City with the Dealers and the Circus Freaks.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all. And Morgan tried to be a producer or a manager or something.
We get a little bit more of that.
gist.
And would you like to give us the gist of what's happening this week?
Look, mind your eyes, missus. I'm chucking my mess. The gist. Mariah gets a job. Her shoes leak. She writes an album. She goes on tour. She eats bagels. She gets offered a publishing deal. She sings almost the whole of Make It Happen. Look, it's a lot. I may have to double dilate to fit this all in.
Okay. We'll get to 45 centimeters.
I don't know. It's a lot. Anyway. I've barely...
Don't know numbers. Don't know math.
That sounds like a lot, and that's barely touching the edges of the gist of what's happening in this episode.
The dilation. All right. Shall we break it on down?
Oh, well, can we?
I don't know. We can try.
Yeah.
This is our Everest. All right.
Breaking me on down.
So, to begin, Make It Happen. After... How about you getting the fuck out of Patricia's?
Yes.
Mimi stayed in Morgan's empty apartment while he was in Italy pursuing a modelling career and Lord knows what else. I do wonder what the implication of that is. Like, what else could he be pursuing?
I don't know. Morgan seems a lot.
What I do love is that we do get little snippets of like, oh, it's not just Morgan and Alison sitting at home waiting for the ATM with the wig. Like, in my head, that's what their lives are. No, they did things.
Oh, yeah, they went out to find other ATMs.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they're everywhere. They're on every street.
Yeah, there's heaps of ATMs. You've skipped over my favourite bit right at the beginning.
How?
The soft, warm, plump to perfection, classic New York City morning staple.
Oh, the bagel.
The bagel.
Oh, no, I've got it. Don't you worry. I even have a recommendation.
Page 1, bagel.
I have a recommendation.
What?
For the best bagel that I've ever had.
Oh, your bagel.
Yeah, except there's no hole in the middle of it. Too uptight. Because a bagel, like, I don't know about you. This is not something, a bagel is not something I grew up eating.
No,
like, this was
maybe when I was a teenager, like when because there's that bagel joint in Fitzroy, and I went to school in the next suburb over, so just to hang around in Fitzroy.
Yeah, you decide whether you could afford the train or the bagel.
The train or the bagel. Oh my god, the train or the bagel! What a dilemma.
It's like the tortoise and the hare. You know? A classic tale
go somewhere,
of our time,
or I could stay here and eat a bagel.
Eat a bagel. Yeah. So for me,
I would have no career, but I would be around like a bagel.
The bagel thing for me was like this thing that was on the OC. It was like, they have a bagel with smear. And on Miss Congeniality as well. The godfather of my time. But I when I was living in the city, I lived in Windsor, and thanks to the Uber Eats, I did find a place called Pardon Coffee, which is just like a little hole in the wall. And I swear to God, they have the best damn bagels. And it inspired me. I went and bought bagels today. So.
I nearly bought a bagel and I'm off carbs. Like, what is it with Mariah just trying to force feed me carbs in this entire book?
She loves you.
Shut up about the bagels, Mariah.
All right. So you're happy we touched on the bagels? Do you have more bagel-related info?
No.
Are you good? We can move on?
We can move on. Are we going to mention Flo from Alice?
What?
So you would see, this is one of those things where I'm like, too young, doesn't know.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for noticing.
So when she gets her first job, and they put her on the register.
Oh, we're not there yet. We'll get there.
Oh, okay, cool.
But you ready? Okay, we'll go back a little.
You tell me when we get to the register, and I will tell
we'll get there. Okay. We you'll know because I'll distinctly say register, and you'll register the register.
Lord knows what else.
So
that was I love and Lord knows what else.
I know. But somehow in there, obviously, Morgan managed to get some cats named Ninja and Tompkins. And I love that Mariah fed the cats and tried to feed herself. But I'm not picturing that, financially. I'm just picturing her trying to, how does this work? I
tried to feed the cats, but I couldn't open the can.
Do I eat the cat food with them? I don't know. This is too hard.
I just threw them a handful of bagel and left the house.
Yeah. And then the quote, which is hilarious, but I know it's not meant to be hilarious, but I thought it was hilarious, which is, I found a job right away. I didn't have a choice. As if for the rest of us. It's like, oh, no, we don't have to, but we choose to. Because, honey, I can tell you right now, I don't.
I think later on in this chapter we meet someone who doesn't need to.
Oh. Yeah. There are so many people. Oh, yeah. Because of a certain percentage. Yeah. There's a lot of people. We meet a lot of people in this chapter. All right. So Mariah looked through the Village Voice for a job. Ended up working at a sports bar on Broadway named Sports on Broadway. Genius. She started waiting tables, but she was underage. So they moved her to the cash register. But in breaking news, quickly, let me finish the sentence. In breaking news, working a register is nothing like recording background vocals.
No.
Don't know if you knew that.
Well, she's left out the not good at math, which we...
That's true. That wasn't on the resume.
No. And as we know, she has very little idea about the sums and would have been screwing it up. And as she said, this was a no-nonsense... there were no-nonsense waitresses, like Kiss My Grits Flo in Alice.
Okay,
and she gave it the full Kiss My Grits.
Did she? In the book?
So Alice was this show, like because, Mariah and I, both born 1997.
Yes.
So we remember Alice. It was... So there was a Martin Scorsese movie called Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, I think with Ellen Burstyn, and then they made it a TV series, but no one from the movie is in it. I think maybe one person. But it had Linda Lavin played Alice. And Flo was the no-nonsense waitress. She had like a turban, and whenever anyone used to give her sass, she used to go, "Kiss my grits!"
So we love Alice.
So yeah. So Flo was amazing. She was basically Dolly before Dolly.
Okay. Wait, sorry, I already got myself confused. Did I say Alice? Is it Flo? I don't know.
Well, Alice was the main... the main character in a show is always dull. Everyone else is amazing.
That's true.
Yeah. So Flo was the fun one. And there was a dumb one. So Flo was the smart mouth one, and then there was a stupid one, and then there was the chef who owned the place, who was always a bit gruff and grumpy. It was the 70s. Every sitcom was like that. There was the slutty smartass one. There was the dumb one. There was a grumpy man.
God. Sounds like my family. But no, what I love about Mariah comparing, or even not comparing, the cash register to backing vocals is I'm picturing Mariah just standing behind the cash register, just singing. And people coming up and going, "I'd like to pay for my meal." Oh, hang on.
I'm
about to, and then can I have some change? And she just goes up a key. Like it's a whole.
It's a C5. Is that what you want?
Oh, yeah, there's a little left over. Then, or eventually, she was moved to the coat check, which gives me visions of Mariah just checking people's outfits. Like, oh, no, I like that. You can come in. Oh, no, honey, that's not so nice. Off you go.
It's a sports bar. I can't believe they had a coat check.
Go on. And Mariah says that she couldn't keep her tips, which was annoying. But then the coat check turned into a merch stand.
In summer.
And then... it sounds pretty hectic, this sports bar. I don't quite know what's going on. But I love that she describes it, that she's basically the girl from the Cougar ad with sports written across her boobs.
Yeah.
If you don't know what the Cougar ad is, look up. It's
Cougar bourbon? Is it bourbon?
Is it bourbon? Yeah. I always think of the milk version. Where someone No, it's not bad. It's just that it says milk.
It's confronting.
Anyway. Then we get some Make It Happen lyrics. Now, they're interspersed, so I won't mention them every time they come up. But I will say, it's not a song that I've ever really paid attention to the lyrics.
Have you not?
Kind of sing. It's like S Club 7's Reach. It's like, I'm going to make it happen. Reach for the stars.
Not more than 3 short years ago, I was abandoned and alone.
But it's like, I can't.
No proper shoes upon my feet. And she tells the story of the flapping soul.
Which we will get to.
That's the lyric right here.
Now,
Without a penny to her name.
We're actually on
bagel,
to shoes.
token bagel.
we are onto the shoes now because Mariah mentions Patricia's basic and utilitarian shoes that she borrowed that were half a size too small, but she made them work until they became flappy.
Yeah.
Now,
Flappy
I have
shoes.
to read this next quote as ASMR because it's weirdly got some words that are probably in porn. It's not meant to, but I'm going to do it. Okay, ready? Snowy days were the worst. Ice would slide into the flap. It's really hard.
Don't say ice in the flap.
Slide into the flap. Melt and seep through my thin socks. And the clammy sensation of wet, cheap leather travelled up my spine. It's a little bit Voldemort, but
I don't think really hard to get is whispering, isn't it? Talking like that. Isn't
it can
really?
be. I don't know. I just know the Kelly Clarkson version, where you just do like
Oh yes,
and you say things like that. I was sexy ASMR. Look, I'm just reading what Mariah wrote. Okay.
Yeah, ice in your flaps. I remember.
Now, I was speaking of ice in the flaps. Now, I can relate to shoe shaming. This is something that people probably don't think much about. But did you have, both of us not being from the wealthiest of backgrounds, did you feel the shoe shaming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it dumb? It's not it's not even something I ever think about. But
this was my horror when I discovered that the Dunlop Volley was a trendy item.
I don't even know what that is.
In recent times. Because in my childhood, that was, you bought your shoes from Kmart.
Right. Okay. Well, I think I've mentioned before my big W Michelle Bridges.
Yeah.
So I had those on. But even as an adult, like going to the gym or something, people will still look at your shoes and be like, I'm like, well, why don't you go fuck yourself, Sharon?
I had a pair of shoes that I loved, like for nightclubbing, because you couldn't wear runners to nightclubs, and that's all I owned. But my nightclub shoes, as a teenager, I was meant to be in nightclubs. My nightclub shoes broke in much akin to Mariah Carey's ice-filled flaps.
Ice in your flaps.
And rain got in, and they were barely attached, but they were my only nightclub shoes. So I couldn't dance too vigorously, or I'd go west and lose my soul.
God. I lost that a long time ago. But I do wonder, was this the beginning of Mariah's eventual shoe drobe?
The shoe drobe
where,
I mean, it is, it's probably why I'm fat. We were starving when I was a kid, so now I can eat everything. Why not? Jam it all in there.
Mine was more of a love issue.
Oh, yeah. They withheld love, so I cuddled a pizza.
Yeah. But thankfully, Mariah had baby cheeses. Who would answer her prayers in the form of a cheeseburger, which I thought was poetic.
Yes.
Cooked for her by Charles the Cook, who we never hear from again.
I love Charles
hear from him again.
He gave her a burger, plate of chips.
Delicious.
So she could afford a token and a bagel the next day.
Okay, then one day, while savouring cheap morsels of the day's only meal in the Chinese restaurant under Morgan's apartment, Mariah ran into Clarissa, who was the ex-girlfriend of Morgan's producer friend.
And she explained it all?
And she did explain it all. There is a joke about that.
Sorry.
Coming.
I pulled your tag.
For those not in the know, Clarissa was also the voice in Chick that replaced Mariah's when Mariah wasn't allowed.
That was that Clarissa.
I assume that she doesn't give last names, but I assume she only has time to know one Clarissa, unless it actually is the character that Melissa Joan Hart played. I also love that though she identified as a struggling artist, Clarissa wasn't really struggling that hard.
This is what I was saying about there are people later on who maybe didn't have to find a job.
Yeah.
I identify as a struggling artist.
I will say one of the things that always frustrated me whenever anyone creative, so whether it's singer, writer, dancer, people do have this notion of suffering for your art.
Yes.
And so for some reason that translates to sleeping on a mattress on the floor, which obviously in Mariah's case, that was the option that she had.
Yes.
But for other people, it can be a bit more of like, no, this is how I have to live. I'm always like, no, I can have a roof over my head and write a pretty song. Because I've been through enough shit. I'm going to have a nice bed.
Yeah.
So... Sorry if I'm not suffering enough for you. I've suffered in the past. I don't want to suffer anymore.
I had a futon at one point. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's like 3 hours to get out of bed. You got to roll over, crawl over to the door frame, pull yourself up. It's really hard.
Pause for a cry break. Yeah.
Why can't I get a bed?
Basically, Mariah's like, she suspects she's got a trust fund, so if music doesn't work out for her, whatever. But music is my only plan.
My only plan.
But Mariah goes on to explain that there were still challenges with living in this new arrangement. Clarissa had her own room with a whole door, while Mariah lived in a nook above the kitchen, like a reverse Harry Potter. That's how
A nook above the kitchen, like...
It's like, I actually wrote this because this is where I got a little bit lost. So Mariah was crashing at Morgan's. Yes. So crashing to me implies for free. Like, and she may not have been. She may have been paying. But when I hear crashing, it means you're crashing on the couch.
Yeah, but also Morgan's going to come home.
That's true. And that could also be what happened. It just wasn't super clear. But she also did say it was empty. So maybe it was empty. Maybe there was nothing. But I still thought for
taking all
me...
his furniture to Italy.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Something.
Or something. Lord knows.
Lord knows what else.
But I don't know. On paper, it confused me. I thought, well, I'd rather live in an empty apartment on my own than above a kitchen where there's weird people.
Yeah, but Morgan's coming home.
That's okay. We've filled that
in. And
the
cats. You got to feed the cats.
Well, that's the thing. What happened to the cats? Did they stop getting fed?
Morgan came home.
Okay. We're gonna have to get onto Michael-Angeles Davis and just get her to double check. We're gonna
Did Morgan come home?
Did Morgan come home? And are the cats still okay? I assume
what about the
alive.
Bagels? Can she still have those bagels even though she doesn't live there?
Is she close enough?
I'm really fixated on the bagel.
We love it. I should have eaten the bagel. Now, I also love that because, as you mentioned, Mariah couldn't kneel in the nook. She had to pray lying down. And I just imagine her going,
pray every day.
Right? And I just thought, I'm just imagining Mariah going, sorry, Jesus, I just simply don't have the space, darling.
I don't have the space, darling.
I must lay down. Now, it does sound like Clarissa was quite good to her. She covered for her with rent, introduced her to some more music people.
And it was $500 the rent. That was
exactly. It was a fortune. And she did lend her the occasional dress. But then, sadly, some crazy roommates showed up and Mariah and Clarissa fled for their lives, in which Mariah says, I really can't get into the details of that.
Oh, you got to hear her say it. You got to hear her say it. I can imagine.
Now, I did some Googling, okay? To see if I could find out what happened and why Mariah couldn't talk about it. So it turns out that the rights to this story were actually sold to a television network to do like a docuseries. Yeah, called Clarissa Explains It All.
Don't!
So
why did I believe you?
I didn't think you would because you'd already spoiled the joke. But you did. And the fact that I called it a docu-series. So if anyone needs to know what happened, it's in that series starring Melissa Joan Hart.
I'm terminating this relationship. I don't know you.
It wasn't even, as I was writing it wasn't even a good joke, but I just wanted to see if I could get you. And I can't believe that I did.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
There's a twin mattress just laying on the floor. There's a video camera that is set up on a tripod. And then there's like a little lamp.
This is what we call a dungeon.
Hi, I'm Yardley Smith. Guess what? Season 12 of Small Town Dicks is here.
She says, I've never been more terrified in a room with a patient before as I am with this man here.
I say, if you keep me on based on what I saw out there at the crime scene, I'm going to turn into a defense witness.
The hair on the back of my neck was standing up.
Small Town Dicks Season 12 is out now. Don't miss it.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
All right. So then they go to, after they've run away from the house, they go to Josephine, who Mariah met when she was in an open relationship with Morgan. Now, when I read this...
That is a loaded sentence.
It is a loaded sentence, but when I read it, I kind of read it the way I just said it, which was I thought it was when I was in an open relationship with Morgan.
No.
And I thought maybe she was meaning like, a community of good place with him and didn't realize what an open relationship was. But upon rereading, I was like, oh no, good. We're safe. Josephine was in the open relationship.
Yes.
Which I don't think existed back then, so I just assumed there was some cheating.
No, they happened back then. They've always happened.
They had did they have the plant on the front porch that the swingers have? No. I never remember, and I'm worried that I might have it, and I don't know. Like people just show up at my house looking real random.
Swingers plant. No, that's oh my god. When I used to work in the sex shop, the swingers had this terrible magazine where they would
how did I not know you worked in a sex shop?
I worked in a sex shop for years. I worked in a sex shop before the internet, so it was like it was popular. It was a busy joint, and they had this weird little magazine. It was just like a bunch of like glossy black and white pages stapled together, basically. And
well, they were stuck together. Don't know. Staple was the word.
No, like it was double gross. It cost like $1 or something, but I think you paid money to advertise in it. And swingers would put picture of themselves and like, we're looking for someone. We need a third. Woo! And it was. Anyway, the kinds of people
not
that are
to
happy
swing
to have,
shame anyone.
The kinds of people that are happy to have their I'm happy for people to be swingers, but just I don't want to see your middle-aged boobs in my magazine. I was in my 20s. I was like, oh, mum and dad, what are you doing?
Well, you could have answered the ad and found out.
Oh no, it was just like a lot of people's parents in the nude and all looking for other people's parents. Like swingers sounds like fun and exciting when you're in your 20s, but then you realize everyone's my age. Everyone's like 50 something and just bored. You're like,
anyway, so Mariah and Clarissa end up moving in with some Swedish girls.
Oh yeah, it's very strange.
Again, little lost here. When the Swedish girls moved out, it was just Josephine and Mariah. So I'm not sure what happened to Clarissa, but I'm assuming she converted to Swedishism.
Maybe.
Yeah?
Maybe she became Swedish.
Maybe she was Swedish and we didn't know it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. I think Mariah got confused by singing her own song in the middle of this.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
There's a lot.
I'm sorry, Mariah. I shouldn't be fact checking. I shouldn't have read it all at once. That's my problem.
So much singing in this chapter. Like
problem.
just when
is
you go,
really? Every lyric is sung.
Yeah, not every single lyric. Like she's really off on this one. She's like she'll be belting it and then she'll just stop and read the rest. And then she'll sing Make It Happen, like instead of when she goes, when most of the book she'll be like, sing, 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 and she'll be like, Make It Happen at the end.
Like me with our Mariah-isms.
Yeah.
Mariah-isms.
So yeah, she'll be like, sing, 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 and then if you believe within your soul, just hold on tight and don't let go. You can make it happen. Make it happen! What are you doing now?
She's singing in the brackets.
Like she's singing the name of this, like the title after she speaks the lyrics.
She got confused.
You are throwing me off, woman. I don't know what's going on here. Like I just got used to you sing, 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 speak the name of the song.
Yeah.
And now you're sing, sing, speak some lyrics, sing the name of the song.
Yeah.
It's too much. But
God, if Oprah's not here for When You Believe later on, I swear to God. All right. So Mariah, now living there with Josephine, continued to get more backing work. We get a description of her go-to outfit, which was the all-black studio uniform with white sneakers.
Yeah.
Then we get a really fun split-screen phone montage, right? So we're back to the sitcom, where Clarissa tells Mariah to tell Patricia to buy Mariah new shoes. So Patricia asks Morgan whether she should buy shoes for Mariah, and Morgan tells Patricia that Mariah has to do things on her own, which Patricia then tells Mariah. Everyone hangs up and we get a single shot of Mariah zooming, looking into the camera and saying, I'm a teen living on my own in the city, but whatever. End of pilot. That's exactly what I imagined when this was all going on. I was like, okay, there's a lot of names here. What's happening? Why is everyone discussing Mariah's shoes except Mariah?
I love eventually, reluctantly.
Yeah, exactly.
Morgan.
That is legitimately my next note. So yes, eventually, reluctantly, Morgan did buy Mariah some shoes, but they were not white. They were black, which goes with everything, Morgan. But she was glad to have shoes.
Why not black?
Why not black? She was glad to have...
She was grateful, though, that they didn't have involuntary air conditioning.
Yeah. Exactly.
She's a funny one, Mariah.
She is a funny one. Then Gavin, Clarissa's ex, who is the producer and also knows Morgan, introduced Mariah to Ben Margulies.
Oh my God. Is he related to Juliana the Good Wife?
I thought maybe Miriam.
Miriam Margulies.
Because a lot of people call her Margoyle, but it is Margulies. It's just spelled differently.
It's just spelled differently, yeah.
Maybe they're like fun lesbian mums.
Maybe.
Of course.
Yes. The Good Wife and Professor Sprout.
Yeah. The meaning of Margulies.
I'm going to imagine that they're Ben's parents. Okay, yeah. I'm good with him now.
That is a show I would watch on the ABC.
Oh my God, The Good Wife of Professor Sprout? Yeah, crack snacking.
Oh my God. But only one single Ritz cracker.
One single Ritz crack snack.
Now, so yes, Mariah is introduced to Ben, who we know for a fact Mariah no longer knows. Right? And we do get this story. I didn't expect. I thought it might come later, but no, we get it. So now Ben and Mariah started working together in Ben's chicken coop pantry studio.
Yeah.
Mariah was like smashing out songs. She's like, yeah, bam, I'm going to get this. So Ben started thinking
bang song.
You know what? I'm Mariah. I'm the Dave Stewart to Mariah's Annie Lennox.
Oh, don't.
So I got to lock this down. And Mariah was like, good luck with that. Can we just focus on putting down my song?
I'm not shaving my hair.
Although we do love a bit of the Eurythmics.
We do love a bit of Eurythmics, but he also did do the theme and score from Showgirls.
Oh.
But he did marry a Bananarama. I don't know. I'm torn.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's random.
He married...
Dave Stewart. I thought you were talking about Ben.
No, not Ben. Dave Stewart. He married the Siobhan.
Oh, Saibhan,
yes.
So Mariah goes on to say that Ben was kind of involved or whatever. But they were her songs and her dream. Don't get in my way. But Ben... Get out of my way! But Ben wanted some security. So he photocopied a contract from a book whose author hilariously ended up later becoming Mariah's lawyer.
I know.
The way her mind works.
I know.
And Mariah signed it.
Yeah.
So she said she didn't
shady
know...
photocopy.
The shady photocopy. She didn't know about the whole holding on to your publishing thing. So when a publishing company offered her $5,000,
$5,000,
all in your
even
mind.
though that would have kept her in Bagels for a month.
Oh my God. Longer.
She could have had Bagels and gone on the train.
Definitely. She could have taken a train to get a bagel and then taken the train home.
No.
She said no. Even though she said that seemed like $1 million, which is how much I got for my first real publishing deal. I will say Mariah also mentioned this in the Zane Lowe interview where she was talking about do not sell your publishing. And I actually have on my computer a big note in bold that says don't sell your publishing.
Well, this is one of my favorite facts that I've learned in writing my book, the hard quiz book of the world's hardest asses. I had a chapter on Dolly Parton. Elvis wanted to sing.
Elvis, let me be.
Oh my God, I met Stockard Channing and I told her I used to do drag shows to that song when I was a kid.
What did she say? Put the top down.
The top down. I just name dropped Rizzo. That's the ultimate.
Was she nice? Do we like her? Do we know her?
Heaven. Yeah. She was heaven.
Did you ask her about the First Wives Club or?
No. I talked to her briefly about the West Wing and then I said, so anyway, everyone in Australia mainly loves you because we love Olivia and we love Rizzo. And then we went on about Rizzo for ages. Because she was like 38 when she was in high school.
Yeah, weren't we all?
In the film. Anyway, beside the point. What was I even talking about?
Publishing.
Publishing. So Dolly was approached by Elvis, who loved I Will Always Love You. Thought it was the saddest song he'd ever heard. Just obsessed with it. Wanted to record it. But his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, told Dolly, yeah, he wants to record it. The only thing is, whenever Elvis records, he gets 50% of publishing for everything he records. Everything. Mm-hmm. And she's like, nah.
No.
I don't give up publishing. It's all
well, I mean, the joke in the industry is 1 word, 1/3.
Yeah. And so she said, no, I can't. And so Elvis never recorded it. Apparently sang it to Priscilla when they were signing their divorce papers. I will always love you.
That is, I'm sorry, that is pathetic.
I know.
Can you imagine? Hang on, I know we're getting divorced, but I just, one last ditch effort. Here I am singing the Dolly Parton classic, I Will Always Love You.
She was 14 when they got married.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A lot of problems going on there. A lot of problems.
But yeah, so Dolly said Priscilla told her that years later. Yeah, Dolly held on to it, and lucky she did. Otherwise, Lisa Marie now would be taking
can you imagine?
all that Whitney Houston money.
Can you imagine? Oh, no.
But instead, Dolly built herself a theme park with that money.
Dolly
Anyway,
would. Dolly would do that.
That's my publishing story.
No, this
Don't
is good
give away your
because-
publishing to Elvis.
Yes, I'm gonna we've got more to touch on about this, but I will say one story that always stood out to me was actually, of all people, from Billie Piper's autobiography, because she was talking about if you get $1 million contract for a recording, to record an album, that's not here's $1 million in your pocket and you can record an album. It is here's $1 million to record an album and pay yourself and pay everyone else. Then when it's out, you have to recoup that money, pay us back before you get a cent.
Yes.
Wow.
Here's another. We're going to have to put down an extra tarp today.
Oh, we're tarping.
So Martha Davis from the Motels,
Yes.
Take the L out of love or it's over. We were at a pub at 1 o'clock in the morning once, and she told me that she got a call, because she's a member of Equity, and they said, oh, you have to pay this much this year. And she's like, what do you mean? I didn't make any money this year. And they go, oh, no, we've had your stats through. You made over $1.5 million in some... Her songs had been licensed off to Spotify or somewhere or this or that or the other thing. And she's like, what? And so she rang the record company. She's like, I just got a call from Equity. Apparently I've made $1.5 million this year. I did not know. They go, yeah. You're still 6.5 in the hole. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And she's like, what? How do I own nearly $7 million?
Yeah, but no, it is. It's very confusing, and we'll touch more on it because Mariah was later told that the contract she signed with Ben was his golden ticket. He got 50% of publishing from all the songs he wrote with her. Mm-hmm. Fine, says Mariah. That's fine. All right.
He worked really hard on those. Yes.
Cool. He also gets 50% artist royalties from the sales of her debut album, 40% the second, 30% for the third, and so on.
And he didn't even work on them.
This went up to $19.99. Out of loyalty, she said she never tried to recoup the funds, but the relationship was over. But one thing that really stood out for me was that Mariah says the music business is designed to confuse and control the artist.
Yeah.
Similar, like we were just talking about. You've got the Taylor Swift saga with the masters. That's quite fresh and recent. I'm finalizing songs at the moment for an album and putting that out independently. But the reality to get any real success doing something independently is you just don't. You get your 50 cents a year and that's about that.
That's the
so you can build up through touring, like live shows, build a small audience, and that might be enough to pay your rent. So if you're an independent artist, you don't want to sign things, that could possibly be a way, if you're good, to get things happening. But at the end of the day, if you want that kind of success, you eventually do have to sign something over.
Yeah.
Because otherwise a record company's not going to
Well, there's nothing in it for them.
There's nothing in it. So this is the thing. So people like Mariah, like Taylor, all of these, huge artists, it becomes about how do I hold on to the thing that is mine, but still give them something of worth, of interest. So you have to know that before you even sign your first deal. But
that's what they're counting on. They're counting on. I mean, this is one of my issues with stand up is so many people are prepared to do it for free because they just want stage time. They just want to get a laugh, and they think that the more free gigs you do, at some point someone's going to pay you, and it's like, no, the more free gigs you do, the more free gigs will be expected of you.
And if not you, someone else.
Yeah, it's like, well, someone else will do it for free. Like when I first started, so I started in 96, 97. First time I came to Sydney, not the first time, like I was coming up here like every year for about 4 or 5 months of the year doing gigs before I moved up here. And you would get paid, I think it was like $200, $250 for a headline spot, which I think at the time that, you know, a week's worth of gigs in Sydney would probably have paid my rent for a month. Like, it was good.
Yeah, nice. Okay, good.
It was good money. Anyway, now a headline spot is, I think, $175. The cost of living has changed a lot in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's just because there's people that will do it for that price, and because there's rooms that no one pays to get into. So the cost of getting into gigs hasn't changed. So it kind of, I can see why the music industry is the way it is.
Yeah, people get excited. They get the wool pulled over their eyes. It's similar. I think any art, really. Like for designers, this will be good for your folio.
Oh, your bloody folio,
and it's happened.
mate.
It happened 10 years into my career. And I'm like, honey, I got a folio.
Yeah,
like,
folio
I'm
is
good.
fine.
I don't need your shit little business logo.
It still happens. It happens with writers. It happens with photographers. It happens with any kind of creativity. People just think, oh, you know what? You guys, like... It'll be really good for what? Be good for what?
For
like,
you?
for you to have free stuff? Yeah, that's great.
But of course, remember, when we go into a pandemic, we're not essential. And yet, what are the things that people did to pass their time? They read, they listened to music, they watched the TV shows that we write and star in. And
they listen to our podcast.
They listen to our podcast.
Thank you for listening to the commercials.
Yeah.
The $1.50 that they pay us.
Oh my God.
Is amazing.
You cannot imagine. Imagine the bagels that we get with that. I got a bagel and cream cheese the other day.
Yeah, but you can't catch the tram.
There's no trams where I live. Now, Mariah does go on to say that this first contract was shady, but that it wasn't the last of the shady contracts. And she goes on to describe a whole forest full of shade was yet to come. And that she could have fought Ben's contract, but that she had already left him behind. So we're not going to waste energy. Then she ends this moment.
She was on her way.
She was on her way. At least we made the demo.
Capital T, capital D.
The demo. So we officially have the demo.
The demo. Does it have all the songs on it that I want to know about?
Well, we don't know what's on it yet, but we do believe that there's a little Vision of Love, a little
there's all those ones. But what about the ones that didn't make the album?
Oh, yes.
I want those ones.
You want those ones?
I want to know where they are, what they are.
Do we know that there are some that didn't, aside from the one that's on the rarities?
No, there's also Weakness of the Body.
Oh, yes.
That's one of my favourites.
Okay.
That's from the demo.
Have you heard it, or it's just one of your favourites? Okay, I thought you were going to be like, it's one of my favourites. I've never heard it, but I assume it sounds great.
And a weakness of the body. It's very like, later on in this chapter, there's a bit of shade on Teen Stars, but it does sound like one of their songs.
Oh, really?
I think it might have been Mariah going, yeah, maybe that's too teeny bopper. We'll get rid of that one.
Yeah, a little bit. Now, mentioning that later on in the chapter, we've still got a fair bit to go through, and we're about
so much.
4 hours into this.
Do we
have a little moment?
Do we need to take a break? Does this need to be another chapter? A chapter
of our chapter.
Does this need to go into chapter 11?
But yeah, I'm thinking, do we do a little to be continued?
All right, let's,
Yeah, so we can really dive into the rest of the chapter.
God, it's like the season finale.
Oh my God.
6 months.
Who shot Mr. Burns? All right. It's decided we are going to do this, but we'll still do a little bit of the ending stuff, so you feel like you've got a full episode up your sleeve. So let's hit it up with a little bit of a remix. So this week, there's a couple of things, but I think the main one is do not sign that contract.
Don't sign photocopied bits of shady shit.
But I do love that Mariah was like, you know what, though? I'm just going to go hire the lawyer who wrote the contract.
Oh my God,
That'll fix it.
That'll fix it. And he's like, no, it's airtight. I wrote that thing. It's airtight, mate.
Or he knows the loopholes.
Yeah.
And possibly also maybe probably would have stolen shoes rather than owing Morgan anything.
No, she's
going to steal some.
She's a
Reeboks,
good girl.
She
doesn't steal. She doesn't steal.
She is. Sorry, Mariah. I'm sorry that I'm like bad influence.
Yeah, you're a bad seed.
Was there anything else within The chapter you thought could be remixed?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff to be remixed. Also, like, I mean, I feel like it was foreshadowing our shady deal on the photocopy bits of paper. But, you know, don't agree to work in the code check without tips. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
Like, ask for your tips. Like, that's all you get paid.
Yeah.
How are you going to get your bagel
and maybe
in the
a
morning?
meal. Maybe throw, you know, I need lunch.
Yeah. I mean,
into this deal.
that guy gave her lunch, but
yeah,
that was against the rules.
But let's make it official. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. I do love that so much of this, she keeps singing about making it happen, and it's like, you're making a lot of bad things happen here. You're making like your entire fortune disappear into someone else's home-built studio.
But how opportunistic of a certain someone to do that? Like,
well,
you go, oh, I recognize talent. Anyway.
I know, but they wrote such good songs together.
That is true. How about a little Can Take That Away, Mariah's lesson?
Can take that away. Oh, Mariah's lesson.
So my lesson is know your shit. Because recording contracts and companies are a whole mess of crap. There will be people trying to take advantage of you and get their piece of the pie. Mm-hmm. Don't let it happen. As annoying as it is, know your shit, do your research, ask the right people, Google it. Especially these days. Like, Mariah didn't have Google. I mean, Mariah probably did have Google exclusively. She invented Google. She knows Google.
She knows Google.
But yeah, basically, as unfair as it is, and it is, you know, people do take advantage, especially when they see the talent.
Yeah. My Can Take That Away is probably just art. Like, if you have a shoe that's letting ice in your flap, then you will. The good ones will come along.
People like that.
People do like that sometimes. But you know, it's like just. Sometimes I feel like, you know, it feels a bit hippy dippy, but the universe will provide. It's like, don't stress over your flappy shoe.
Yeah.
Because one
Make
day
it happen.
Morgan will turn up with a Reebok and you'll be okay.
That's true. It's true. Yeah.
Like, it's just.
Did he #save the day? Is that what happened?
God, Morgan.
If he don't, then we won't. Then she won't have shoes.
That did not just happen. That's almost
enter Lauryn Hill.
Clarissa explaining everything.
Is there anyone we don't know? Is there any I don't know hers in this chapter?
I don't know. Do we know Ben? I'm confused because I feel like we don't know him, but then she's like, we worked so hard together and we got the demo. Yeah, I don't know the side of him that made me sign the shit bit of paper.
Yes, yeah.
But I still know the other half of him that did the work. Like,
I think Mariah doesn't know him anymore.
Right.
You know, it's like she knew him. I knew him. Yeah,
at the time.
So it's like at the time,
but
no longer.
So we don't know him.
But
he did co-write Vision of Love.
It's fine. Phil Spector had some good hits too.
Phil Spector had many good hits, and he was a crazy person with crazy hair. Murderer.
Mainly the hair.
Mainly the hair. Like murdering I could live with, but the hair is too much.
He needs Farrah Fawcett to fix it. Farrah fix it. All right, I think for this little part one that we've got going, we are almost home.
At the end of the podcast, baby. Almost there, almost home. You could probably say, but you won't because of copyright.
We are almost home. So next episode we will continue plowing through this gigantic chapter of Make It Happen. We will make it happen eventually.
I will say, weirdly, it's actually not the longest chapter, but there's something that is so dense about the detail in this, and that's why
happens.
There's a lot that she makes happen.
I mean, I'm very excited because next week we might meet Will Smith.
Maybe. We may know him.
We may know him.
So yes, please join us on the Instagram, the Twitters, the @me I am a memoir. with all the extras and all the fun stuff, and you can do the voting of the things that will happen next week, not this week. Please take a moment to rate and review on the iTunes. I know that I like a 5-star. Fab likes the 1 star.
I like any stars.
Whatever.
I just, I dilate for all stars.
Any star that grabs your dick.
Just jam all those stars in me. I'm happy for them.
All right. So I think that brings us to be continued.
To be continued. ...
Hello, it's Brooke Devard, host of Naked Beauty, and I could not be more excited about Kate Spade New York's summer collection. They are celebrating 30 years of the brand, and the Kate Spade New York design team really outdid themselves with this summer collection. There's a gorgeous lemon-inspired raffia bag that I love, and the Bahamas sandals. It's a low heel with a feather detail at the toe. Take me on vacation immediately so I have an opportunity to wear these. Go to katespade.com to shop the Kate Spade New York summer collection now. I promise you're going to find something incredible for your summer outfits.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
There's a twin mattress just laying on the floor. There's a video camera that is set up on a tripod. And then there's like a little lamp.
This is what we call a dungeon.
Hi, I'm Yardley Smith. Guess what? Season 12 of Small Town Dicks is here.
She says, I've never been more terrified in a room with a patient before as I am with this man here.
I say, if you keep me on based on what I saw out there at the crime scene, I'm going to turn into a defense witness.
The hair on the back of my neck was standing up.
Small Town Dicks Season 12 is out now. Don't miss it.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.